You open your calendar with good intentions because you're thinking this is the week. This is the week that you're going to get it together. But instead, because it's in this reality, you're hit with chaos. Meetings stacked on top of meetings. Random quick syncs, but that eat up the entire afternoon. And then your personal appointments are always crammed into lunch breaks, and your creative time is pushed to later. I'll get to it later. And somehow there's zero space left for the work that you actually care about. And you tell yourself, I just need better time management. But what you really need is a calendar that works with you, not against you. But that is what Reclaim AI claims to be. Doesn't mean they are. It just means what they claim to be, right? Because a lot of these apps out there state that they're going to be the best of the best of the best. And Reclaim is saying that they're going to be a smart calendar assistant for anybody who's overwhelmed and actually needs an assistant. So is it another productivity tool that just sounds good but falls apart in real life? That's what we're here to find out. Hey, it's Caitlin, and welcome back to GBRLIFE Reviews, where I test the tools, sites, and platforms so you don't waste your time, your money, or your energy, just mine. Now let's get into it, right after my quick intro while you like and subscribe, or you can skip ahead using the chapters. I get it.
Welcome to GBRLIFE. We'll talk big love, everything in the mix. So bring your boy, Joe Bright, you're home now, babe. This is GBRLIFE.
So what is Reclaim AI? It's an AI-powered calendar assistant designed to automatically schedule your priorities around the rest of your life. So instead of dragging the blocks around all day, this one doesn't do that. Instead, this one focuses on scheduling tasks automatically. It protects focus time. It adjusts when meetings move. It balances work and personal time, and it syncs directly with Google Calendar. So basically, Reclaim helps you really organize what matters. Workouts, content creation, family time, personal time. It finds realistic space for those things built around your obligations. Basically, it's built for creators, professionals with packed calendars, founders with side hustles, parents juggling everything, anyone basically tired of pretending that they'll just do it later. Because their promise is that it's a calendar that adapts to real life, not some perfect productivity fantasy. So let's go and look into the tool so you can see all the things I liked and didn't like. And of course, we'll start with what I liked. Here we are right inside of Reclaim AI, and it is basic. Basic to me is always a good thing. I say that very often in my reviews because basic means that it's not complicated to figure out. However, in this case, there are some things that you have to do a little bit of digging for, but we'll get into the things I don't like in a moment. First thing you're going to see, I already connected most of the things that I wanted to connect. Yes, you're going to see your calendar first. I mean, isn't that the whole point? So I'm a fan of that. And automatically, I see that it already changed how my day was going to function. Now, this is old information that you're seeing in front of you because I have not updated my Google Calendar in decades, it feels like. Okay, it hasn't been decades, but it feels like it. Like I said. But on here, it already added in anything basically that's not this color, light green, sage green. It's a pretty color. I like it. And then the emerald green, or are we talking forest green? You tell me in the comments. Is that forest or emerald? I feel like it's emerald, and I like emerald green. Okay, but more importantly, it added that for me. I didn't add any of that. And it said I need to take lunch at this time. And it said that I'm going to be focusing on Monday to do this and all of this. Like it's really nice in that sense that it already added that in for me. And it also decided, hey, your habit, and it's critical, you have to eat lunch. Now, it didn't put lunch every single day, but that's because I just created this and it kind of wants to know what I think is a priority. If you look over here, this is the planner, this is what you're looking at. But if you go over here, you can add in your own priorities. You can add in, or it will let you know your stats, your team stats for the year. But then it'll also help you with your focus, habits, buffers, tasks. It's letting you know what you're doing and if you're on track to do it based off of what it's seeing. Last week, next week, that's kind of nice. And then you can also add in your smart meetings and you can schedule with scheduling link so you can send that out because this does work with Teams. And now when you're doing the calendar sync, this really only works with Google Calendar, but there is some other integration. So let me show you that next. If I go over to the settings, you can see there's calendars, hours, account, buffers, colors, integrations, scheduling, tasks, notifications, and team. So this is where you're going to manage those settings for your team. You can do that scheduling, of course. What is the scheduling? You want to see things within 3 weeks, a 3-week window, your start of the week, your auto lock, RSVP, and plenty of information there, but not too much either. Isn't that nice? Because this isn't about being flashy. And that's one of the things I like, is that this is not about being aesthetic. This is about actually making things work, automating your time blocks in a way that makes sense because you're setting your hours, because you are making it look and feel like what you need in order to get your stuff done. What do you need your personal time color to look like in order for you to really make sure that you have enough of that personal time in your calendar and that it doesn't look the same as your travel and that you got confused when you were looking at your calendar? It's a small detail, but it does make sense in the grand scheme of things on a day-to-day basis on what people actually need, in making sure that your tasks work with you. For example, when you're deciding the one-off task duration is automated to 30 minutes, maybe it needs to be an hour because it actually is what you need, or that your task event spacing is listed as an hour, but you want this to actually make it only 30 minutes in between your different tasks. And it will do that for you once you come in and say, this is how I want this to look and act and behave in a way that works with me. Plus your tasks and habit breaks. You can go in and state that you want 15 minutes or 30 minutes up to an hour of task and habit breaks. Plus you can add travel time before and after events or decompression time. I think that's something that not a lot of calendars have and absolutely need. The other thing you can do is add in tasks directly in through here. It will sync back to the Google Calendar because you're syncing it between the two platforms. And then the other thing is that it also tells you what is next up in your schedule. So you don't even have to worry about what is coming up. It tells you. And my other favorite thing on here is find the time. So it will actually, you have a meeting, whatever the case is, you add in your attendees, and it will find the hour, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, however much time that you need to have that meeting with everybody and all of those attendees. That is one of the hardest things to do when you have multiple people on a call, even if it's one other person who happens to be very busy. I'm a big fan. And you can add in your tasks right here. So you don't have to see everything this way. You can also see it just one day at a time, just your tasks. You can also view as you, view as others, and then your days can be listed as just one day or up to 9 days that you're seeing in your view in front of you all the time. One of the things that is kind of not really a make or break, but it's more of what makes it and what I like here is that your focus time is actively protected and it reshuffles by itself. So if I were to go and update one of these items in my Google Calendar, this focus time or this lunch period will automatically adjust based off of what it now sees on here, which is great. Plus, when you're doing these things, if you're adding a task in, you can decide this is a working hour or a personal hour. And this allows it to know how it needs to readjust all of the rest of the items on here. It may not readjust your actual items because you're saying it needs to be at that time, but it will say, okay, you're busier on this day. We will do our focus time on Tuesday and Wednesday, but a little bit on Monday as well. I mean, I feel like that's really awesome. Plus, it doesn't remove the day that just happened because sometimes we need to see what happened a day before. We all have different needs and wants, right? And it treats every single thing that you have going on as important. So essentially, this makes it very good for anybody who's doing a multi-role. If you're a multi-role human, if you're working a 9 to 5 and have a side hustle, if you have kids and you're working, if you're just a mom, moms in general, I'm a mom, so I get it. And Either way, whatever you're doing, it says, well, this is important. So we're going to make sure that this stays exactly when you need it. Let's find time to do everything else. And that's one of the things, or really all of the things that I absolutely love. But some of the things I don't love here, I mean, it's very basic, it's very easy, but it's not the easiest thing on the planet to know exactly where every little thing is. Now, in one of those things, if I go over to the integrations, which aren't much, you can see you have the Google add-on, which is really the only thing that it actually works with when it comes to your calendar. But there's Teams or Zoom and Slack to kind of work with that when it comes to the calendar. The other thing it also has is Todoist, which a lot of people love Todoist. And then you have Asana, ClickUp, and Jira. I don't know how to say that one. And Linear. I know what this is, but I don't know how to say it. I never really know how to say that one. So let me know in the comments below if you know how to say it. And yeah, so it works with those project management tools, which is great too, because it kind of makes it where you are project managing your life through these tools, and you really only have to set it one time over here to kind of make it work for you. Thing is, you have to set it up. All of this information that's in green, I put there. I have to set that up. I have to add in and say, hey, this is important. When I'm going in to add a task, I have to tell it that it's a working hour or personal hour. It's not going to assume anything for me. So it's up to you to set it up and with intention. So this isn't a 5-minute plug and play. And that's what I don't like here. It's just more time and effort, but worth it in the long run. But not everybody has the time to do that. And it could just end up being on your to-do list. Also, it is heavily tied to Google Calendar. I think it's wonderful that it is, but not everybody uses Google Calendar. It's your main place. That's your sync. And I don't think one-stop shop for Google in the sense that you're going over to Google and getting it all set up over there, and then you have to go back over here and make sure all the other stuff is done, or you just don't use Google at all and you're only setting up stuff here. So you're adding in extra time and effort in 2 different places. Also, let's be real. This is very structured in what it's doing, and it's straight to the point. So if someone doesn't like that, your entire day is going to be really mapped out, and you have to tell it what you're doing. So if you hate structure, I wouldn't use any of these types of tools. Speaking of structure, structuring your life means saying no to things, and this is not going to fix your boundary issues. So if you're not somebody big on boundaries, you're going to look at it and say, why isn't this fixing my life? Because it can't, because you have to do that. I'm sorry, but it's true. You have to do that. Now, I bet you're wondering what all of this is going to cost. And that is free, $10, $15, or $22. Yeah, this is per seat. So if you have a small team and you've got 2 people on your team, that means that it is $20 a month. And that's the yearly. Now, if you go monthly, it is free, $12, $18, and they will not do that. It says unavailable on monthly plans. You can only do enterprise on the yearly per seat. You've got 2 people on your starter, that's $24 a month. I did math. Yes. Free is 1 user, 1 week scheduling, 1 link, 1 smart meeting, 1 habit. So basically 1. You get 1. Starter, you get up to 10 seats. And you get 8-week scheduling, unlimited focus time, 3 scheduling links, 3 smart meetings, unlimited habits and calendar sync and integrations and analytics and time tracking. And what you were seeing, though, is that business. It was giving me a trial for the business. And so it can go all the way up to 100 seats. A 12-week scheduling range and unlimited basically everything else. This is what they want you to use, so that's why it's the most popular, and because this one is for large teams. So that's your pricing. Now let's discuss the real question. Is it worth it? Is Reclaim AI worth it? I'm going to say this. For creators with mental overload, yeah. Professionals drowning in meetings, probably. Parents balancing work and life, I mean, if you're tired of your pen and paper, or you're just really wanting something different that isn't going to break the bank, could be a good solution for you. I would also say side hustlers building something bigger. Yeah, this is a good idea for you, but it might not be great for anybody who hates planning, because this is not going to plan your life for you. Remember, you have to add in all that information, so automatically you're going to hate it. Or anybody with a really light calendar, okay, you can use the light version, but honestly, don't even worry about calendar tools. You can probably just remember or just use a pen and paper that I just said wasn't a great idea. I'm a big pen and paper planner person, so I wouldn't say don't use it. Use it. Pen and paper is great for planning, if that's what you really like. Sometimes it's great for memorization. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that this is also not good for anybody who expects instant magic. This is not magic. This is you working with the tool. And because of all of this is why I'm going to give the GBRLIFE rating. Do you think it's going to be low or high? It's actually quite high. It's a 4.5 out of 5. Reclaim isn't exciting in a visual way. It's not generating art, and it's not doing anything trendy. But if you work with this tool, comparing to a lot of other tools out there, it does quietly change how your day actually functions. It is actually looking at who you are and trying to make it work for you. And because of that, I have to give it over a 4. And it's losing a half a point because if it can just find a way to make it a little bit more magical, not more aesthetic, but just a little more magical in that it's a little more intuitive, or it kind of just says, list all the things that you do and we'll go ahead and add it to your calendar. I think that would be the main thing it's missing. And after that, comparing other tools, which you're having to move here and there and maybe suggesting maybe kind of putting it over here. No, this one's like, hey, I see your calendar. It's really full. Let me make this work for you. You have all this stuff. Let me make this work for you. And that's why it gets a 4.5. Reclaim AI is one of the few tools that actually helps flip the dynamic that is out there of aesthetic versus functional. This is functional, and that's what most people in these situations who need a good calendar actually need. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you trust AI to manage your schedule? Or does that feel a little too personal? Drop your thoughts below. And that's it for this week's review. If you want more honest, no-fluff breakdowns, check out the GBRLIFE Reviews playlist, like my review from last week on Recraft AI. Is this the vector file solution that you've been waiting for? Find out when you watch the next one. And don't forget, with all of my content on GBRLife.com and my fabulous Mama Koala clothing line, you don't have to be without GBRLIFE in your life. Now go watch another review while you're protecting your time, maybe, if the tool is right for you. Either way, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!